Got big Australian news here in 8 minutes. So I'm trading the pre-news drama, and I think this is like the best money right here. Is this easy spikeage here? Let's see here. Putting sells up here. Okay. Oh, Margaritaville. Oh, why didn't you tell me? Christ, I was ready to commit suicide. Yeah. Okay. That's quite a severe bank. But I'm bullish on this dollar Canadian, you know. I got all sorts of tricks on this thing, you know, right? But yeah. Yeah, music soothes the savage trader. Just too pissed off, you know. God, get on my nerves. Oh, jeez. Okay, Chemical Bank. That's got to be good for you. Yep. Oh, I'll be there. Gas grill. Oof. Yo, yo, yo. Oh, man cave. Yeah, any way you draw these things, to me, it's a winner every day. Especially just before the news like this, 5 minutes. See this thing dip down and scoop out all these orders I have placed in here. This is samurai trading here. Okay, so I mean, if the news could come down here and spike that right now, I'd be like very. See, this one, I just learned not to place too many orders though. I think I blew up a couple of demos. But this is a half hour. That market's got, that's a 4-hour chart. That market's got a spike down there in a half an hour. Wow. So here's a 1 hour order here. I'll give it an hour to retest that. I heard some guys say today that the market was retesting, and I thought, well, of course you're buying the retest, I hope. Like who's not jumping on that train? Okay, so I'm loading this thing pretty heavy. You know, I've seen these moves before. How many times we've seen this stuff? I mean, you're the guy that went and you bought here. No, you bought right at the apex of that triangle, and then you had to ride, as they call you, had to go round trip on that trade. And you saw your account equities swing through or blow the account up, you know. But in the end, you were right. Like, even the guy that said, here, you know, sell, you could at least claim that this retracement, he's up, right? Okay, let's not make fun of people losing money. Let's just wait for the news here. So, it's not nice. Oh, here's a breakout, but I'm looking to get on the pullback. Yeah, New Zealand dollar, come on. New Zealand dollar has just been getting its ass kicked here. It's time for this thing to recover a little bit, huh? Or maybe it's just range bound. Look at that torturous. Wow. I mean, your moving average looked really great, like here, and then oopsie daisy, range traders take over. Ouch. Yeah, I mean, my robot, my trend bot, got a little got hurt during this period. You know, it's like, ouch, oof. I'm sorry, it's just too funny. So, there's so many places to make money here. You could be on a 5-second chart. You know, there's a 6-second chart out of that Swiss forex trader. The 6-second on their like special platform they got. Okay, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back and check out the news. Okay, it's pretty boring, really. News in 25 seconds. So this should be pretty crazy. This one I'm kind of bearish at the top on the dollar yen. Really seriously about selling that up there. But I don't have any buys on that. Should probably throw some in. This is the slowest broker I got. This one will take almost 1 second per order to come in here. It's crazy how long this takes. Where the other one's just instantaneous. But I think I'm actually short the euro yen on this news, so it should hit this market pretty hard, Australian. So I'm going to sell that. Probably getting filled on this guy. Should be scalping this. So I give that an hour to go through this drama. And then it slams back and reverses really hard. But I have no, yeah, and this would be the inversion. Typically the dollar Canadian will plummet as the Australian goes up. I make it to this juicy round handle here and buy just an ungodly amount right there. Anything below that, I'll let these orders sit for an hour. At this point, it's just set and forget it. There's nothing you can do. Wait for these orders to fill. Pretty bearish on this dollar yen, just on a short-term spike basis. And then all the market has to do for me is just to go up, like Australian dollar's going up here, comes up into this fill bank. So here I'd start putting in, these are 30 minutes, like this. Try to capture this. Here's a 4 hour. Come on top with the 4 hours. Yeah, lock me out of that. Maybe I just put too many orders. Okay, now I just have to wait for it to fill. So in half an hour, I can make 50 pips off the top of that. And it's pretty quick and dirty. All it has to do is fill this hole all the way to that round handle, 100 pips, and just take me out on the retrace, just scalp it. But never having to touch the platform after placing this trap. So instead of instead of running around with a gun, a deer rifle and a scope or a laser, I just decided to find out where the deer run and then just place the traps there. And I don't know if you're allowed to trap deer, but in the Forex market, you're allowed to trap all these wicks up here. You take advantage of all this stuff, which like all this, I guess what people call stop hunts. So they go after that stuff, and you know, just only have to, you know, just buy here and just you're just getting out there. You know. It's pretty silly. Now same thing here. Dollar Canadian's going to plummet, and I just take advantage of that spike, and I'm the whole week. I mean, I can make enough money in 2 hours. I don't have to sit there through this creeper drift up, which is enough to make anybody jump out a window. And look at this thing drifting up. Of course, this spike here was a nice scalp. Earlier, I had a bank of a half hour or 1 hour sells in there. So this is just kind of, I wouldn't say random trading, but I'm counting on the market being erratic. So it doesn't really matter. As long as these order banks have written into them money management, these are basically your trade, your playbook is built into these. So, you know, you have to make sure you've got all these nicely done. That it makes sense, and I would say some of these actually risk more than they make, but the probability of reversal is so high. I don't really want to be stopped out of it because that's how I usually trade with swing trade, really hard. and use up every ounce of margin I could possibly get out of the account without blowing the account up. And I thought, well, there's no way of avoiding writing your own personality into the script. So even though you think you're avoiding some of the emotion, unfortunately, you've, just like you say, you raised your kids to be sociopaths. You know, you can't help but when you're building something to have the flaws, you know, your fractal flaws built into it. But the nice thing about this is it kind of, if you do it right, it keeps you from over trading, because if these orders only last a half hour, your exposure is going to evaporate. And I got to sell up here on this, but I'm a contrarian, so I'm counting on I'm playing the backbeat of this thing. I'm looking for it to go up in reverse off of this round handle, and it's climbing up this channel that everybody has probably been trading from a trend perspective for quite some time. I mean, it certainly looks like a piece of cake entry. I mean, doesn't it? Like, just totally blockhead obvious here what's going on. So you got this channel here. If this thing can come to an end at some point, you know, certainly this would be the logical climax of that channel. But since you've already broken out of this thing here, where you've broken out and come back, you know, you break out, come back into this internal. That's why I usually go for the dual trend line, just a tight channel like this, because there's an under over to the see, there's a double top, so you have a channel, you give it a band instead of such a hard, people want to make this thing so precise, but it is in a way. But I think you still got to have this envelope of this kind of gap where you know, you're not just right in the default's not going to draw it the way I want here, so, but it'd be like this. Instead of a trend line, all your trend lines would look like trend bands. This, it would give yourself a little leeway, and you can see that notch. In other words, these little double top with the shoulder. So basically, it's basically a trend envelope built around the shoulder. So you could take this around and use this as your average true range of top-bottom behavior. See, it keys up here, and then it lets it come into the envelope there. So if you do a trend line, the problem is that you're like, you get just too, you know, you just can't get too nitty-gritty about these things. You really hinder yourself in thinking that it's got to be the perfect setup, and then if it is the perfect setup, people say it's too good to be true, and there's all sorts of crap that you're going to put on that mentally to try to either avoid the trade or whatever. But anyways, that's my view of this thing. Just trying to make money on the spikes. Don't really care much about the trend. So this hasn't quite got up there. Now I can put in some 1 hours really high, because now now that it's calmed down, if it does do one more spike, it's going to be a really high probability reversal. And if it doesn't, oh well. There's another piece of news. See, this account's doing well because this account got into a spike bank, and there's no fills till I get up here, so I want to leave a gap on the entries here, because right up in here, if I can fill up this whole bank in the next hour, I think that's an hour, 4-hour bank, then that fills, and the next bank would have to spike all the way to here. This is another slow broker, but it doesn't matter. I have to use this one for swing trading because you can't really scalp. You can't put a 15-minute script in here because it almost takes 15 minutes to load it. And then here's a slightly tighter bank. This is going to cover a deeper grid, and then dollar Canadian, I could put 4 hours in there, because if we can get below this 100, that doesn't look like it's going to. I pretty much did buy this on the, I figured this is a failure breakout. I did buy that, because I don't know if we are going to fill this hole down here, but what are you going to do? Okay, this one, dollar Swiss, probably should put some super deep buys on that in case there's a, now these could last for a day down here, but this would be a killer strategy here. Looking for these to capture a bounce with master stop down here, and just trying to make quick money. I don't want to be in the market too long. So if this thing can retrace back to this round handle, I'll have cashed out this whole bank. And I think there's maybe take profits here if it actually comes all the way back. But this is so far 10 minutes since the news came out. And if I can be done and out of this trade at top of the hour, that's my favorite, where it does this thing where dollar Canadian zooms up against the round handle, and it does a perfect attempt. Well, not an attempt, but people, there's people that want this price, and it just so happens that it's right above this. These are 4-hour bars, so there's an 8-hour ledge here, and then there's this guy. So if you had a stop here and a sell limit here, you have sell limits here, you're getting in, and then you're going to take profits on this thing, say here. Even though you didn't ride it to here or here, you still made a nice chunk of money, I think. So this was the sell limit, that was your stop, and here was your take profits. And but now it looks to me like, wow, you know, let's buy this thing. Put some buy orders in here. Let's see, get out of this slow broker. I'll put some pretty tight buys in here now, looking at this thing. So these will last for like a half hour. That's 15 minutes on this red one. But it's getting to that point where it's really looking juicy to get in for the this kind of stuff. Where this is like 70 pips. I mean, this is crazy. Everybody's, the guy that's long's right, the guy that's short's right. Everybody's right. Everybody's right as rain about that, and everybody made money. And this one, this bar here, nobody but the bulls made money there. But look at these. This stuff here, there's plenty of money to be made on the say sell there, buy there. Even if you got in here, if you bought all the way into this thing, you're totally cleaned up. Come on. You know, you bought here, you bought here, you bought here, you bought here. You were ready to buy there. You had enough money in the account to buy there, and then you start cashing out there, cashed out, came all the way back. If you got in too early here, oh well, I guess you could probably do, there's your perfect bottom becomes a top. Now it's Tanksville. Tanksville's over, and if it's not, it's damn like I'm gonna bet the ranch down here. I'm gonna bet my neighbor's ranch. Then here I'm gonna bet Obama's ranch and his vacation to Hawaii and everything right there. I'm betting it all right there. When we fill in there, oof, I am loading up, and then it's gonna go zoom, and I'll be like, woohoo, let's go party. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go party. Okay, so yeah, I know. That's why I had to divorce her. All she wants to do is dance. Poor thing. God. No. But she's cute, so what are you gonna do? Okay. Back to the drama at hand. Okay, so this account here, is it making any money? I can't tell. Trying to build this. I wrote a script called Bigfoot. All right, well, that's the news. I guess we'll just have to wait for it to play out. Nothing we can do about it. You know, this stuff is like watching paint dry. Okay, I'm getting retreat here on the so this scalp's working out here. I think this is going to be one of those quick and dirty trades. That's a 5 minute. Just look for the things to just come flying back to this, and then maybe people jump on it there. You know, we don't know. It's just scalping, I guess. It just seems like there's more scalps than there are. Like, look at this one here, 15 minute. Look at that. You know, just why waste your time with all this news and, you know, it's a 15 minute. Right?